Country Doctor by Eugene Smith. In 1948, a photographer climbed into a car with a rural doctor in Kremmling, Colorado, and didn't leave for 4 weeks. What came out of those weeks was not just a photo essay. It was a monument. Today, we're looking at one of the most iconic images from that project, Eugene Smith's Country Doctor, and asking, what makes a photograph feel like literature? The frame is deceptively simple. A man walks toward us across a field. He wears a light suit, a wide-brimmed hat, and a dark tie loosened just enough to suggest exhaustion rather than ease. In his right hand hangs a black medical bag, heavy, worn, functional. Behind him, storm clouds roll across a wide sky. Pine trees line the left. A wooden fence marks the right. The grass is wild and untamed. Everything in this composition pulls in one direction, toward this solitary figure, walking into the frame, walking toward the next patient, walking toward another 20-hour day. Smith shot this in black and white, and the tonal range is extraordinary. The sky is almost theatrical in its darkness, not a backdrop, but a participant. It presses down on the man without crushing him. He walks under the weight of it, slightly hunched, eyes cast downward but moving. Always moving. This is a photograph about duty, about the particular loneliness of a person whose work never ends. The man in the frame is Dr. Ernest Ceriani, the only physician serving a community of around 2,000 people spread across a vast stretch of rural Colorado. He delivered babies, set broken bones, performed surgery on kitchen tables, and drove unpaved mountain roads in the middle of the night to reach patients who had no one else. Smith followed him everywhere. He photographed him cradling a dying child. He photographed him stitching wounds. He photographed him exhausted, sitting alone after a procedure that didn't go the way he had hoped. But this image, this single walking figure, became the defining one. It ran as the opening photograph in Life magazine's June 1948 issue, and it stopped readers cold. There was no caption needed. The image spoke with complete authority. To understand this photograph, you have to understand the man who made it. William Eugene Smith was born in 1918 in Wichita, Kansas. He began photographing as a teenager and by his early 20s was already working as a war correspondent. During World War II, he covered some of the most brutal fighting in the Pacific, Saipan, Iwo Jima, Okinawa. In 1945, he was critically wounded by mortar fire in Okinawa, spending nearly 2 years in recovery, undergoing dozens of operations. The experience marked him permanently, physically, emotionally, and artistically. What Smith brought back from the war was not cynicism. It was something harder to sustain, moral urgency. He believed with fierce conviction that photography could change the world, that a single image, made with enough care and enough honesty, could reach into a person and rearrange something. He was also, by most accounts, extraordinarily difficult to work with. He fought constantly with Life magazine editors over cropping, sequencing, and captioning. He believed the photographer's vision was sacred, and he would rather lose a commission than compromise an image. He was a perfectionist in the old, punishing sense of the word. The Country Doctor essay was a turning point, for photojournalism as a form, and for Smith personally. He proved that a sustained, intimate documentary project could function as art, not just reportage. He gave the photo essay a conscience. Let's return to the image itself, because the more carefully you look, the more deliberate it becomes. Smith positioned himself low, shooting slightly upward, which gives Dr. Ceriani a quiet monumentality. He is not a heroic figure in any classical sense. He is not posed, not performing, and yet the low angle lends him gravity. He fills the frame with the weight of someone the world depends on. The storm clouds are not accidental. Smith was known to wait, sometimes for hours, for light and atmosphere to align with meaning. The sky here is not just weather. It is metaphor, the unrelenting pressure of need, the storms that never quite pass for a man like Ceriani. And then there is the bag, that black medical bag, hanging from his hand like a quiet burden. It is both tool and symbol, the instrument of his purpose, and the thing that will never let him rest. The wild grass at his feet, the rough wooden fence, the absence of any road or path, these details tell us he moves through a landscape without easy routes. He makes his own way. That is the life this image describes. Eugene Smith died in 1978 in Tucson, Arizona. He was 59 years old. His health had never fully recovered from his war wounds, and his later years were marked by personal and financial hardship. But the work endured. Country Doctor is now studied in photography schools around the world. It is cited as one of the foundational texts of documentary photography, proof that a camera, in the right hands, with the right commitment, can do what words sometimes cannot. What Smith understood, and what this image demonstrates perfectly, is that the most powerful photographs are not about spectacle. They are about recognition. You look at this man walking across this field, under this sky, carrying this bag, and you recognize something true about human life. The weight of responsibility, the dignity of service, the loneliness that comes with caring for others day after day after day. That recognition, across 75 years, is what makes this photograph immortal. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this analysis, please subscribe and leave a comment below. What other works would you like to explore? See you next time.